It's a good thing this was caught on camera, otherwise no one would have ever believed it. On August 6, 2025, near Mexico City, an ordinary tourist, driven by a curiosity for nature, headed to the area near the Toluca volcano. His original plan was simple: just drive around the local sites and enjoy a peaceful day in nature. However, as he was driving along the highway by the volcano, something unusual in the sky suddenly caught his eye. What on earth is that? Puzzled, he pulled out his camera and recorded this footage.
Una esfera.
¿La acercaste? Pero de aquí.
Aquí la estoy viendo.
Wow, ahorita no lo enseño.
¿Qué onda? Una esfera, mira.
Ya viste. Ay,
Ya
la
se
tapó
escondió.
la nube. No fue la nube. Wow. Síguele viendo, Leti. Por si cuando se quita la nube todavía hay señal.
Looking up, he spotted a massive white sphere floating right inside the clouds, hovering silently above the volcano like some kind of man-made structure. He quickly grabbed his camera to capture the moment. Its path was equally strange. The sphere appeared to rotate slowly in the air, before silently vanishing straight into the clouds. The tourist found himself increasingly baffled. What actually is it? And why is it here? He speculated that this mysterious white orb was very likely some form of UFO. Its location, the way it disappeared, and even its shape defy any logical explanation. So, what do you think it is? Truth be told, I have a theory of my own, but I'll let you think about it first. I'll reveal my answer at the end of the video.
This is haunted time. That's right. You have intercepted the hidden signal. More secrets are about to be unveiled. Do not miss the next episode. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell right now. Otherwise, the signal will disappear forever. I repeat, subscribe now.
On the night of June 20th, 2025, a homeowner was curled up on the couch, munching on snacks and watching TV. Just a completely ordinary night. Suddenly, a strange noise came from the yard. It sounded like someone rummaging through things mixed with heavy footsteps. His first instinct was that a burglar had broken in, so he immediately grabbed his phone and pulled up the yard's security feed. As the screen lit up, his tension instantly eased by half. It turned out to be two raccoons. They had broken into the yard, digging through the trash for food, and leaving behind a total mess. The homeowner was annoyed, yet found it a little amusing. But just as all his attention was focused on the two raccoons, something on the other side of the monitor caught his eye. Over in the direction of the neighbor's yard, something seemed to move. It wasn't a raccoon, but it didn't look human either. The frame was extremely blurry for a split second, resembling a dark shadow darting past. He frowned, thinking his eyes were just playing tricks on him. So he replayed the footage. Slow motion. Pause. Play again. Right at the edge of the neighbor's yard, an indistinct dark shadow suddenly appeared, sweeping almost flat across the ground, only to completely vanish a second later. Of course, many people believe it was just a glitch in the camera. As for what really happened, though, it's hard to say. This next story takes place in July 2025. This footage reportedly comes from the internal security system of the USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier. The person who made the video public claims to be a Navy veteran, who served on aircraft carriers for a long time, spending roughly 6 months at sea on mission and 6 months back on shore resting each year. He said that during his years at sea, he indeed witnessed plenty of inexplicable anomalies. However, all those experiences were strictly things he saw, leaving behind no footage and no evidence whatsoever, except for this one time. He said this was the only time he actually managed to get his hands on real, concrete footage. This isn't a rumor nor a second-hand story. It's security camera footage straight from inside a warship. And precisely because of that, this recording became the only piece of evidence he's ever dared to share publicly. Yet it remains an unexplainable phenomenon. In June 2025, a Reddit user shared a piece of footage recorded by her friend. According to her, a lot of strange things had been happening at her friend's house lately, and the property actually had a history that was rarely mentioned. Before the American Civil War, the house had served as the local doctor's clinic. According to her friend, ever since they moved in, unexplained phenomena kept happening one after another. Footsteps, strange noises, and certain unexplainable feelings. This time, however, things were noticeably different. This footage was captured one night, during a sudden spike in paranormal activity. It was also the very first time the phenomenon was fully recorded. There seems to be a dark shadow moving slowly across the living room, except there was nobody in the living room at all. The family was all asleep at the time. Could there really be something inside this house? The next incident occurred inside a warehouse. At the time, a woman was at the front of the warehouse counting goods and organizing inventory, completely focused on her work. Little did she know, about 10 meters behind her in the dark, the security camera was capturing something else entirely. In the frame, an unidentified white object slowly emerged from the shadows. At first, it moved close to the floor, almost as if it were gliding, making absolutely no sound. Otherwise, the woman would have heard it. Then the white object began to change. It gradually lifted off the ground, slowly ascending into the air. The entire process lasted for several seconds. What's unnerving is that the woman organizing the inventory never once turned around. She was entirely unaware that, just a short distance behind her, such an abnormal scene was taking place. I can't help but wonder, if she had turned around at that moment, what would she have seen? Then again, there are no what-ifs. This incident took place at a funeral home. That night, a security guard was taking a break in the guard room. The funeral home had already wrapped up its operations for the day, and the main hall was completely empty. Right then, he suddenly heard faint footsteps coming from outside. They weren't loud, but they were crystal clear, sounding like someone slowly pacing around the hall. He grabbed his flashlight, stepped out of the guard room, and checked the main hall and all the hallways. Nothing was there. So he went back to the guard room, and shortly after sitting down, the footsteps started again. In the exact same spot, with the exact same rhythm. This time he started to feel uneasy. He went out to check once more and once again came up empty-handed. That's when a terrifying thought struck him. If there really was no one in the hall, where were those footsteps coming from? He decided to check the security footage. The moment he replayed the video, the guard broke out in a cold sweat. On the monitor, Right when he was patrolling the hall earlier, a child appeared in the shot. What's even creepier is that the footage showed the child had been following right beside him the entire time. Yet in reality, during his patrol, he didn't see a single soul. No child, no shadow, not even the slightest eerie feeling. He was the only person in the entire funeral home at the time. Which brings up the question, the child on the camera, was it human? If you were that guard after seeing that footage, would you still dare to work the night shift alone? Sacramento, the capital city of California, USA. Recently, an unexplainable incident occurred here. A gentleman named Joseph shared that one afternoon he was trimming the fence and clearing weeds in his backyard, getting everything in order. Everything felt totally normal, until something in the tall grass suddenly caught his attention. At first, he thought it was just play of light or some debris, but when he stopped what he was doing and took a closer look, his heart immediately sank, because hidden among the weeds, a human face was faintly visible.
Look, dude, she couldn't find her way over there, so now she's over here. She's definitely trying to find a way in the property. You see her? Look at that face. Oh my god. It's right there staring at me. Dude, how fucking scary is that shit? Oh my god, dude. What the fuck? She's crawling through all this shit, bro.
It wasn't a statue, nor did it look like a doll. It looked more like a real person hiding in the grass, watching him from the dark. Joseph didn't foolishly approach it at the time. He said that in that moment, instinct made him feel deeply unsettled, so he chose to call the police right away. The police arrived quickly and conducted a thorough search of the backyard and surrounding area. They parted the weeds and inspected both sides of the fence. Yet the results were even more baffling. They found no one at the scene. No signs of anyone hiding, no escape routes, and zero evidence that anyone had ever been crouching in the grass. The problem, though, is that face was indeed captured on camera. Both the photo and the video exist, and in the footage, that human face appears clearly right between the weeds. So that brings us to the question. If there was no one at the scene, then what on earth did he see? Later on, Joseph added another photo which looks a lot like a hand. In southern Arizona, a woman was resting at home when she suddenly heard a soft click. She turned to look, and the kitchen door swung open gently on its own. At first, she assumed it was just the wind and brushed it off. But that was only the beginning. A few days later, the couple realized something was wrong with their bedroom. Initially, they thought it was an issue with the mattress, but the movement became increasingly obvious. It even started shaking rhythmically. The woman's husband spent a long time inspecting it, yet he remained completely clueless. I have a question, and honestly, it's driving me crazy. Why couldn't they just pull back that darn blanket? Wouldn't they know what's inside as soon as they took a look? Of course, there's another possibility. They couldn't pull it back because doing so would blow their cover. On September 18, 2025, a paranormal investigator visited the Savannah Paranormal Museum to conduct an investigation. Initially, he had only heard rumors about the museum. Everyone claimed there were strange phenomena here, and some even said it was haunted by ghosts. But he didn't buy any of it. He had always believed these were just exaggerated tales told by people. Even if ghosts existed, they couldn't possibly be that intense. However, this investigation completely shattered his perspective, because reality delivered a harsh slap straight to his face. Tell me, did that hurt or what? Of course, it's also possible that this investigator is just a great actor. But if it's acting, it's way too convincing. It genuinely looks like he was struck by something. Then night fell and his colleague was attacked as well. According to the colleague who was attacked, it felt as though something poked him really hard at the time. It hurt so much he could barely stay on his feet. Now let's reveal my theory regarding that massive white sphere. When the video was shot, the exact filming location wasn't very clear, and the quality of the video makes it impossible to fully confirm the true identity of the object. Therefore, jumping to conclusions that it's some kind of UFO based on this alone doesn't seem to have much grounding. At the same time, I think we could perhaps consider another possibility. Could this white sphere actually be equipment from a weather monitoring station? For instance, the Wufingshan Weather Radar Station, located on Wufingshan in the Ruifang district of New Taipei City, is one of Taiwan's crucial weather radar stations. It's primarily used to monitor weather conditions in northern and eastern Taiwan, especially weather systems like typhoons and heavy rainfall. The radar station on Wufingshan has a very distinctive appearance. It sports a white radar dome sphere that is extremely eye-catching. Furthermore, I found some information indicating that near the Toluca volcano, there is indeed a radar station operated by the Federal Civil Aviation Administration of Mexico, CNIM. So, is it possible that this big white sphere is simply their radar station? Doesn't that seem highly plausible? Well, my friends, that's all for today's episode. Remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. I'll see you all in the next video.